What is up YouTube, it's Kingfisher745, and I know this is kind of late, but unfortunately I couldn't post earlier. Still, I did want to cover the modern rogue covert ops. So if for some reason you haven't logged in yet, what you're first going to see is this panel of dialogue followed by a few more. So let's go ahead and see what Rogue has to say. You know, Sugar, I think it's time I try out a new look. This uniform's torn up and feeling old to me. I could go for something new, something more modern. Well, now you're talking my language. With this panel and the next one, it's like my two favorite games are combining. Fashland and Marvel Avengers Alliance. Now I know some of you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, but trust me, you will. Anyway, Rogue continues, I've had my eye on a little green number, but the hardest part is finding just the right gloves to go with it. Well, I would say go white, but you can't wear white after Labor Day. Every fashion expert knows that, I think. Oh, I know, Sugar, how about green gloves? Green on green. Everybody knows green is the Kingfisher's color. Oh, I'm not just talking one or two pairs. I go through gloves like you wouldn't believe. Try punching diamond hard skin with gloves on and see how long they last. If you could track down a whole bunch of sturdy green gloves for me, I'd really appreciate it. So, what do you say? Well, I would say no, but I don't have an option. And this brings us to our very first task. These tasks are going to be very similar to Magic's. They're basically the same but with Rogue's abilities added. The first task, and the most annoying one, is collect 15 sturdy gloves. You can get one of these by completing the daily mission, and you can only get one per day. That means it's going to take us 15 days just to unlock the costume. Once unlocked, you can purchase it anytime, but it's going to cost you 60 CP. There are two, so that's 120 in total. In my opinion, that's bad enough, but the 15-day wait really kills me. But if you are willing to do so, you can buy them for 3 gold each. I wouldn't recommend it because they're free to farm, and you're probably going to do the daily mission at least once a day anyways. So it's just a matter of patience. For her second task, which will show up and you can do right away, along with numbers 3 and 4, in order of course. For this one you're going to have to use Rogue's Brawl 4 times, and Southern Comfort 4 times. Make sure you use the default costume and not the Horseman of Famine. Also, for those of you who don't have Rogue unlocked just yet, you can find her as a team up in Season 2, Chapter 2, Mission 3. If you do have her recruited, you may want to take her into the Villain's Archive, and you can complete this and task number 4 there. It won't cost you any energy. And another great tip that I have read multiple times is you can use Invisible Woman and force cage the opponent before hitting them. So that's for anyone concerned about length or energy or anything like that. But for myself, I just go into a regular mission that I'm already farming and I'll bring Rogue along. It's that simple. However, those type of tips can be very important when you're using something like Unstable ISO weight during Spec Ops. In fact, I may do a top tips for Spec Ops video, and that wouldn't just be for Spec Ops 24 but every Spec Ops beyond that. There would be tips like use the simulator when you can, and deploys can be done outside of Spec Ops. Of course there would be more serious tips outside of that, and I would also love viewer suggestions as well, but that's definitely an option and something I'd like to explore. But moving on in this task list, I believe the last ability we had to use was Southern Comfort, and that's because there is quite a cooldown on it. In fact, you may just want to start small battles and use it once, then finish it off and restart a new one, rather than drawing out the battle like I tried to do at first. The same thing goes for Absorb Power on task number 4. But like I said, moving on to task number 3, we have to complete 5 PvP battles. You don't have to win them, and you're going to have to do them in practice. So what I ended up doing for my strategy was, I took in a very high attack, kill or be killed team. So pretty much I was either going to lose fast or win fast. Either way it counted towards our 5. So here we are in our 5th and final match, and yes, we are using Quicksilver along with Null. Then we have the Cosmic Cardinal to top it off. After our opening attacks we almost take the Agent down already, but he is going to live with a little over 2700 HP. Next, pretty much the only thing we have to worry about is the opponent's Luke Cage. So unfortunately he's going to be using Fatal Fist to preemptively counter just about everything we do. That's why typically I will bring in the Neuro Purge, that way we can place off balance on him. By the way, I have no idea why the AI null ends up preemptively countering every single action, while mine nearly never does it. It's something that blows my mind to this day. No, I'm not talking about this match, we haven't used You're Not Worthy yet. I mean in general, and I use null a lot. But the opponent here, he's going to do it every single time. And in fact, he takes down our agent. Their agent luckily dies as well. And while I'm getting what I asked for, a kill or be killed quick match. So anyways, now we're going to attack. And of course, we're preemptively hit. But we do take down the opposing null. At this point, there's no way we can lose. 2 more quick hits from Quicksilver. And then Luke Cage is going to finish her off with a Fatal Fist. Well, that is if Skirn makes it long enough. So yes, I'm very happy we didn't lose our 5th match because that may have been a little bit embarrassing to put in the video. Oh, and yes, I know there is one thing besides the final task that we need to include, and that's my look at the new costume itself. Don't worry, we're saving that for the end, but I promise you I will at least give you my first impressions. For now, task number 4, it's going to be very similar to task number 2, in that you can use the same exact techniques to finish it. Simply use Rogue's Absorb Power and Rogue's Drain Essence 4 times. You can do this in the Simulator, the Villain's Archive. You can use Invisible Woman, the Force Cage. You can use items like Chrono Accelerator or Tactical Strike. But the only thing is there are cooldowns, so it's going to take a little while. You just can't spam the abilities, unfortunately. Now, using a little bit of time warp technology, we're going to fly through the battle where we finish off using the final ability. And I believe we had to use Absorb Power. After that, we did get all 4 in and we completed task number 4. With that, it means we only need to collect the sturdy gloves, and we have until March 10th. Like I mentioned earlier, these tasks are the exact same as Magic's, so as soon as you complete the daily mission, you're going to receive 1 sturdy glove. You'll get it for your first run through, and then you won't get another one after that until the next day. So just make sure you keep checking in each day if you want to unlock this new costume for purchase. What new costume? Well, the all-green modern rogue. And with this new alternate, you're going to get some new abilities. First of all, both of them have Classy Lady. Absorb powers are now permanent. Rogue is now going to retain each absorb class benefit. Yes, this does mean she can gain every other class at the same time, and she keeps them. So that is phenomenal. Seriously, this alternate looks like it's actually worth using. And then for the specific power, first we have the Scrapper power. Single target attacks grant a follow-up attack. What this means is if you're using this costume, she'll begin with the Scrapper power. This means that her single target attacks will grant a follow-up, and then you won't have to absorb it, but you can absorb additional classes. This alternate has me very excited because while your rogue's going to be doing a double attack from the very beginning of the battle. Typically she's a powerhouse, so she's going to do a lot of damage. In fact, many of us see Rogue making a comeback in PvP. Then next, you have the Blaster Power version. So this one begins with single target attacks ignore defense and are guaranteed to crit. Well, there's certainly nothing wrong with that, but there are other ways to gain a guaranteed crit. And also there's debuffs like Meld Armor. So for me personally, this costume looks pretty good, but I would choose the Scrapper power first. I've seen some agents say something to the contrary, and I wouldn't necessarily argue against them, but for me, I definitely see myself building around the Scrapper version first. So there it is, our first look at Modern Rogue and her covert tasks. As far as my opinion, if you're still wondering, this costume is even better than Magic's. I would actually use this one over the default. And with Magic, that's not necessarily the case. So if you can, make sure you get this one unlocked. Even if you don't own Rogue yet, you may just want to pick it up later down the line. And that's going to be the end of this video, so I do want to thank you all for watching. And I ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, good luck, and take care.